TSM always had good results in NA, and they always made the finals, so you don't really want to let that legacy down. I think I performed pretty good on TSM overall, if you think about the 2 years I was in, but the community really just sees your last event.
Zven is low. He's going to be taken down here. Svenskeren pop.
Right onto Svenskeren, doesn't have a chance to even get out of it.
Just like yesterday, it's Svenskeren that ends up going down.
I didn't really want to be a part of the team that badly anymore after performing like that. I didn't feel like I was at home in TSM anymore. The way I found out I wasn't going to be in TSM was Andy told me one day that MikeYeung is going to play. Overall, I'm quite happy that TSM found a new jungler and they let me go.
I can't go for this. I'm not going to do it. Just give it up. Behind now. Oh, wait.
Oh, Svenskeren steals the Baron! Cloud9 come up huge!
I feel like in Cloud9 right now, my playstyle is more aggressive with calculations. I feel like my team really trusts me.
They're fighting. Down me. Okay, look at Trist. I have Trist. Trist. Don't flash on the guy. No jump. One Trist still. I have stun. I'm stunning too. Trist. Nice.
I really feel like Cloud9 is the place where I can grow most as a person and I can be more of a leader. Going into the game against TSM, I feel happy to finally meet them because so long I've seen them like struggle and I just really want to win against my whole team.
Hello and welcome back. LCS is on the attack for Game 3 of the day. Cloud9 versus TSM. And let's start taking a look at the starting lineups. On the blue side, it will be Cloud9. That means in the top lane, controlling it is Licorice. Roaming around the jungle, Svenskeren. Holding it down mid lane is Jensen. And that bot lane duo of Sneaky and Smoothie with Coach Reaper.
And on the red side is going to be TSM. In the top lane, Hauntzer. In the jungle, MikeYeung. Bjergsen in the mid lane, bot and support. Going to be Zven and Mithy with Coach Song.
And I am ready for this game. The installment in Cloud9 versus TSM comes with a lot of caveats. For starters, Svenskeren is now on Cloud9 and looking to get some revenge on his former team.
It always feels so good to beat your former team. Even if you're still friends with them, you want to show them that they made a mistake. You want to show them that you were the better jungler. And Svenskeren has been very vocal that he's been enabled by C9, that he's more comfortable there, and he's performing well alongside Jensen, who's very lane dominant and is kind of unlocking him to play a different way. And it's also kind of interesting coming into today, C9 versus TSM, we're not talking about Jensen and Bjergsen, right? Yeah. For once, because A, the game has been less about mid lane, and B, the teams have been unlocking more different win conditions.
Also, the fact that this is not the TSM we're used to seeing. Halfway through the split, a 4-4 team, it's not exactly where you see TSM. They're topping the charts, or at least giving teams a lot of trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Really not what you're expecting, and they could be ending their first round robin at 4-5. You know, below 50% win rate. It's not where they want to be. And in recent weeks, they have been improving. They have been certainly on an upwards trend. This is the biggest test to see how good they have gotten. How much have you improved? Because Cloud9 has looked like the best team in the league, full stop, I think. And coordination is going to be the name of the game for TSM. How well can they work with MikeYeung? Because they have been able to get individual leads. They have still had great performances individually, but they have not pulled it together, right? They have not worked well as a team, extended leads, as they were talking about on the desk. And if TSM win, you can show again that the top two are vulnerable, that it's not just Echo Fox and Cloud9 and then everyone else, that they can be in the mix.
Say, Sneaky Ezreal priority. Okay, interesting. You see quite a few bans targeted at the mid lane throughout ban phase, but Ezreal's the one to go to.
One of the things I really do like about Ezreal, and I'm not the biggest fan of the champion, but one of the biggest strengths is how sustainable you are on your own, right? You can have your support roaming everywhere on the map, and when Smoothie is having an MVP caliber performance, he's affecting so many different lanes, he's getting out on the map and changing the course of the game. He's allowed to do that if Sneaky is on Ezreal, right? Sneaky can be farming very safely. You can also play more aggressively with a range support and try to poke out your opponents and take advantages like that. So it just gives you so much more flexibility than some of the other AD carries do, you know, especially looking back to last game, for example, a champion like Jinx. This is basically the antithesis. It's like the opposite, right? You can do everything by yourself, whereas Jinx needs to be babysat.
Locking things down this game. Big bit of crowd control and a bit of tankiness grabbed up in the first two members of TSM. They can even focus damage from here on out if they wanted to. Be crazy with it. Cloud9 looking for some safe picks as well. Svenskeren says he feels comfortable in his new jungle position here. Feels like he can be more aggressive but calculated in those instances, and it's going to be the Sejuani as he locks it in.
Yeah, a couple of tanky CC-based junglers being picked up on either side. Obviously, some differences, but it is mostly about having a front line. It is about the lockdown. Skarner more about single target, kind of picking out one person and really focusing on them. And one of the big strengths that Skarner has, in my opinion, is it's somewhat similar to Malzahar in that you can force people to buy QSS when they don't want to, right? You can kind of make them pay this tax and say, okay, well, I would like to complete my death cap, or I want to build a voice staff, but I need a QSS, or he can just flash ult me and I'm going to die every fight.
Well, that was fast. I was like, is he hovering it? No, locked it in. He knows what he wants. Bjergsen takes his own Taliyah for that as we go into ban phase 2. Still looking for Jensen's mid lane.
And this is going to be an interesting second phase of picks and bans because there is not draft parity. There's an AD carry on one side for Cloud9, not for TSM, so I'm expecting C9 to throw some bans the way of Zven and try to get themselves an advantageous matchup there on the bot side. And likewise for TSM, they want to take out anything they think would be really problematic for Bjergsen in the mid laner here. And that is why they're going to be taking off the Corki to start and looking for any other bad matchups they may be somewhat concerned about. There's also flexibility to look to the top side and things like that, anywhere your opponents have not selected their role.
What if they look towards the Zillion for Jensen next? As it being a play earlier in the split for him, Camille away from Hauntzer. Always having a pretty great effect on tanky or damaged champions, can really switch his role, or style of play I should say, from whatever he is picking.
Definitely so, and the Camille makes sense when you already have shown your Gnar. As far as the Zillion, I'm not sure. I feel like, for my preferences, with a comp like this, I don't know if you have enough consistent DPS. When you're playing something like a Zillion, you've already drafted a couple tanks in the front line, I feel like you're not going to have enough consistent damage to actually warrant that Zillion pick. I feel like you need that Hypercare, you need the Tristana or the Jinx or something along those lines.
TSM now hovering the Zillion pick. Ornn still on the board, need a top laner as well, and they're going to lock that one in.
I mean, that could be TSM saying, we think you're going to pick Zillion, right? That could be them kind of poking a little bit of fun at Jensen, and we'll see if he actually does decide to go to it. It certainly can work. I just feel that sometimes if you're on even grounds, especially depending upon what TSM chooses here too, right? Because it's not like TSM has their AD carry yet. But an Orianna, I think, would make quite a bit of sense because it is someone who has pretty safe wave clear and is offering more teamfight punch, generally speaking, than that of the Zillion.
Definitely a played champion here for Cloud9, or I should say for Jensen, but the Orianna has not been taken by him this split, so that'll be his first play here in the spring. And a hover now. 17 seconds left for Cloud9. TSM kind of looking at this composition, thinking, what do we need last? In that AD carry position, Zven gets his last choice.
And it's kind of weird to see Tristana left up this late,
all the way
in
down.
The draft as the last pick of that draft is definitely very, very strong AD carry. A lot of frontline here for the Tristana as well. You had the Ornn, the Braum, and the Skarner all working as that frontline, but on both sides, I think there is a lot of protection for the AD carries. Likewise, you essentially have that triple frontline coming out of Cloud9. You have the protection of the Orianna ball, and you also have the ability to drop that Taric ultimate as the Gnar is going in, as the Sejuani is going in, and really get an advantageous start to the fight.
And Smoothie has really just been at the top of the charts for support players this season, and on point with those Cosmic Radiances, on point with just kind of protecting, controlling vision. So see if this Taric puts him in another position to do so. Tanks it supports, pretty good damage across the board as we go up. And I am excited to see this matchup. TSM versus Cloud9, definitely a difference in score lines. TSM would like to change that in their favor.
Yeah, they really would. And Cloud9 would like to finish their first round robin with just the one loss, right? Stay tied at first. They're trying to compete for that and have really surprised, I think, a lot of people with how good they have been despite the roster changes that have come through. Licorice, a rookie, has been competing and besting a lot of these incredible players. Some of the best top laners in the world that have come over from LCK and has not played up against Hauntzer yet, but is going to get his shot at a guy that a lot of people consider to be the best North American top laner.
And one thing I've noticed about Licorice is that mentality keeps him from kind of Never going into a dark place. Always feels like there's a way out. Knows the team will be behind him. A smile on his face. He's kind of like another wild turtle up and coming. You ever see this guy? All you see is teeth. He is happy to be there and playing, and I think it's been very moldable for Cloud9 to put him in a great position.
Definitely so, and when you're winning and when you have faith in the team, hey, things are looking good, right?
For sure.
You're definitely going to be on that up and up, and we'll see if he can carve out an advantage for himself on the top side of the map, because Gnar could have that split push advantage against an Ornn, and it's actually going to be Predator Skarner. So this is actually something really cool.
Ooh.
I was very excited about
The
Predator
vroom.
when it came in as far as a new rune. It's something that I was playing with a lot of, things like Predator Warwick and Predator Olaf and even Hecarim could be really fun to play around with. But the guaranteed power is fairly low on it. You don't always get much out of it because not only is it a fairly long cooldown, it's a channel that if you're hit while you're interrupted, you actually have that channel stopped. It puts a cooldown on it. So there is quite a big cost, but that being said, it gives you a lot of early gank power, and sometimes it can set you up to make ganks happen that you would otherwise not be able to do pre-6. You go back, you get early boots, you channel that Predator. It's almost like you have a double summoner, like you have a mini Ghost plus a Flash.
Well, you got Svenskeren doing what he can to try and play against that. And a reminder that when you do tune in tomorrow, that Sundays have a new start time. The NALCS countdown kicks off at 11:30 a.m. PST. In Game 1 of TSM and Clutch Gaming will start at noon. So countdown at 11:30 a.m. and the games will start at noon. So be sure you get up and get that popcorn started early, right?
Exactly. Maybe do a
Popcorn
little bit of grilling,
a little bit of
barbecue going.
Yep, set it up.
Get some dogs on the grill.
Early morning dogs, that's what I like. We'll start off in
nice.
the jungle now. And Svenskeren picking up his red with a little bit of help. A blue for MikeYeung as they are off. And I guess not running, scuttling? Off and scuttling.
I'll give you scuttling.
All right.
I think that one works.
Sounds good.
MikeYeung going to be pulling back into the Spire. It is a pretty straightforward thing, but you always want to be clearing, if possible, within the kind of circle of that Spire. It's giving
spires,
you additional attack speed. It's giving you all the mana regen. And
his opponent, FLICKR.
Svenskeren. Svenskeren, he's doing well. I mean, he's having a gold advantage at 15. That is definitely something that they wanted from him. They wanted to have that early game power. And despite the fact that he has been more on the tanks, he has been contributing very heavily. He has been confident to play his style, right? He talked a lot about how on TSM did not feel like his home anymore, and this is somewhere where he does feel at home, and he is feeling comfortable. And a lot of the game is mental, right? Yes, there are reaction times and there's things like this that is more of a physical or whatever you want to call it style, but being able to have a positive mindset and being able to have confidence in all these games, exactly, right? Like that makes such a big difference. And this is kind of the opposite of what Vitas was talking about with 100 Thieves, where he felt that they were struggling as far as being tilted and not sure that they trust each other's opinions and these sorts of things, right? When you have that confidence, sometimes it just feels like everything is working.
It gets scary too, because then you don't see the errors or get to play from the errors. So sometimes that can actually nip you in the butt a little bit.
Yeah, that's another interesting dynamic. That's something that I've heard Sneaky and some of the other C9 guys talk about as far as when they had their loss, they'd rather have that early. But Jensen, maybe getting run down.
Almost getting hit. That fracture gets himself out, so no crowd control. What was follow?
Bjergsen just cleansed.
He did.
I think that's just a straight up misclick. There's no reason to use the cleanse. So instead of just a straight up summoner advantage, it's actually a 1-for-1. It's still going to go the way of TSM because the flash is a longer cooldown, but that actually feels pretty bad because that is going to open up some opportunities for Svenskeren to look. I mean, if you can go there and you can actually proc that passive, there's no cleanse available to save Bjergsen.
So they got that call out, feels good. Warding on either side of Jensen. Keep Bjergsen safe for a bit as the dazzle comes through to give the razzle damage in. Mithy going a little hard, but they dodge out. It's a safe shield as they move back. Minion wave is going to collapse once again, and these guys should just keep farming it out at this point. Little lead for Bjergsen in the mid lane with that pressure. Like we said, the summoner down, quite interesting. See how it plays out.
Yeah, it may not really come into play at all, but it's definitely something you never want to see. Maybe a little bit of jitters there for Bjergsen. Obviously a very big match for TSM. You're trying to end the first half of the split above 50% win rate, right? And you're up against one of your biggest rivals in Jensen. You're up against a team, and here comes the Predator regank.
Ooh, that flash is down. Crowd control coming through now. Jensen's trying to slalom through the minions, but it will be first blood as MikeYeung in the back pocket of Bjergsen.
Yeah, nicely done. Quick repeat gank there, and pulling off 2 ganks before Zven has gotten out on the map to get his first. That's an early base for the boots, and he basically just goes right in there. It gives you the bonus damage when you connect with your first attack. Nowhere for Jensen to go, and he just kind of accepts his death.
Get that Predator, baby.
Heal.
Gotta use it. If you're a Predator, you gotta go fight. You're gonna starve. This is how we've gotten through life. 1-0. Let's see if MikeYeung stays around mid lane. He quickly clears a little bit, and then will hover. Licorice finding the worst end of this trade here as Hauntzer is just using those cooldowns one after the other, and now nicely pulls the wave towards him. He'll be able to kind of control this as Licorice will be forced to teleport back. And here's this one more time.
Yeah, here it is again. Predator channeled out there by MikeYeung, and there is that big speed boost. It's basically like a ghost, right? And Jensen knows he's dead. He knows he's too far up in the lane. There's nothing he can really do, so he just tries to farm out the wave and hold on to his summoner. Bjergsen is going to be gifted a pretty big advantage because of that. Getting that first blood gold in his pocket, plus he has a farm edge there too, so gold advantage pretty heavily in Bjergsen's side, and this is kind of just a comparison of these two guys. I mean, look at how dominant you can see Jensen has been overall this split as far as KDA, CSD. He has been doing exceptionally well. Bjergsen obviously very, very good in his own right this season, and this has been the 2 premier mid laners in the LCS for quite some time now. It's usually a discussion between these two for who is best, for who should be the MVP, for who should be that mid lane all-star. And Jensen has always, I feel like, been kind of that one step behind because he hasn't taken a finals win over Bjergsen. And that's really what he kind of is looking for. And Bjergsen is always looking to stay on top and shut that down, maintain his title, because TSM has won many in a row.
Right. It's like that end result. You're working so hard to get to it. And Jensen comes up just a little bit short there. Here, he's kind of being pushed a little bit short as that gank from MikeYeung came in. But still proving quite useful on the Orianna here to get that ball delivery onto Licorice or Svenskeren when the time comes. TSM is keeping on their toes, though, trying to keep Cloud9 in the back foot as they're always in the jungle. MikeYeung is trying to find Svenskeren just for a bit of vision. They don't really want these fights all that much.
Yeah, both junglers are level 6 now. Both have very impactful level 6s, and MikeYeung especially, I think, when his Predator comes back up, when you have Predator, Flash, and Ultimate, or even just the Flash Ultimate versus Jensen, who still does not have his Flash, that is an extremely difficult gank to escape. Because the Ultimate, you can drag very easily into Bjergsen's flip for that seismic shove on Taliyah, and that is probably going to be all she wrote. They're just going to look for it right here.
We think about those stats again, and those stats are done kind of under these circumstances all the time for these guys. A lot of pressure towards mid. It's known that they're kind of the power player on the team. So that makes it more kind of incredible that they're able to continuously do this game after game. You can see what kind of trouble those top statters can cause each other.
Definitely so, and it's kind of back to last year's plan.
And now Svenskeren gets his hands on Bjergsen. That cleanses back up just in time for safety.
Actually really well done from C9. They hold on to both their ultimates, confident that they can force the cleanse without expending either. And now they have a good opportunity here to look for that. I mean, you have Flash now coming back on Jensen, Flash on Svenskeren, and ultimate available on both versus a cleanseless Taliyah. So really quite a bit of attention being given over to mid lane here. Bjergsen down on the bot side. He has his ultimate, and in he goes.
Oh, sneaky! Just short of getting over. They can still walk it out. They thought the wall would close it, but Smoothie still takes the death even with Flash up there.
Yeah, no real way to escape for him. Once you're tagged by that Braum passive, you're going to get stunned up. You're going to get knocked down, and he holds on to the summoners. I think that's pretty intelligent because, yes, it was a kill, but at least it's 3 summoners expended from TSM's side and just the 1 from Sneaky to escape. So
See
Smoothie
what
will
he can make of it.
Exactly. He'll have an opportunity to try to fight back.
The strategy.
Big brain.
Tears in the bot lane. They're happy to kind of hang out in that lane and figure
It's a
there's
Scorpion.
Pressure. Call the Forge God. Hops off. the minions. Looked like he hopped off the Forge God. That was pretty sweet. Oh my word! They said turret, what turret? My goggles, they see nothing. And they may not see a Licorice anymore. He gets away, Svenskeren at the last second. What a play by Svenskeren. MikeYeung still in a sore spot. Licorice looking for one boomerang. They could help solidify the kill. Dodges the fracture. MikeYeung back and forth, just biding his time. But still holding his breath, because he is going down, and Licorice even picks it up.
The red buff and the kill over to Licorice there, and that just looked like such an overforce from MikeYeung, diving deep under that turret, flashing in to try to pull him out from it, and Svenskeren gets there just in time to turn the game on its head.
That last moment, those kind of plays make you reach too. They make you go that extra distance. And Svenskeren was there. Here it is again.
Yeah, Licorice honestly just reacted very quickly. He gets a lot of distance here, and I was pretty surprised to actually see them commit to it after he got the double hop. But MikeYeung, Predator prop, flashes in. Svenskeren is working his way up there, and they just don't have enough damage to finish it off. MikeYeung was tanking it up, and he actually dropped aggro, so he really kind of botched that dive. He did not hold on to the aggro for Hauntzer to finish off the kill, and he did not stay in to get the final hits to actually finish off Licorice there. So definitely a botched dive from TSM, and
Licorice gets something out of it too.
Yeah, exactly. Licorice is going to be a huge beneficiary, and it's Hauntzer who now gets stuck in this lane against a red buff Gnar with the kill and the assist going over to him, and already being down farm, so that's going to feel really bad for him.
What a situation to play out for the new top laner for C9. Feeling pretty good. We'll see how now he can actually pressure that advantage, or Svenskeren has to, or wants to, I should say, keep coming up to press it. Dragonhoe is going to be a Cloud Drake over to C9, and it looks like Bjergsen will add some pressure. Bot lane's pushed in, I'm sorry, for TSM. The bot lane pushed in their favor here with TSM and Mithy gaining control over Smoothie and Sneaky.
Definitely the case. It's just another example of how risky those turret dives are. They can sometimes be made to look so easy when they're executed flawlessly. But if you misstep and you juggle the turret aggro poorly, or you just are that one hit away from killing a Gnar, he goes mega, he gets the health back when Svenskeren comes in. There's all these things that can go wrong, and it definitely has put MikeYeung at a bit of a disadvantage, because Svenskeren had been farming. MikeYeung had been putting on way more pressure. They still have the advantages mid lane because of that. But this one play allows Svenskeren to not only get back into the game, but to essentially leapfrog his opponent, because he picks up a kill, he picks up an assist. He had been farming more heavily than his opponent, and now he's going to have even more gold and has gotten his top laner ahead.
A few of those summoners up as well. Licorice lost his, but Sven's still for an initiation if he needs to flash in. And that Glacial Prison is now up to lock someone down if they want.
That being said, Flash is up for Hauntzer. It's not for Licorice. MikeYeung is going to have his Predator boots ready again, and the ultimate. You can look to make a repeat gank, right? And you can kind of make up for that. Yes, it did go wrong, but you got the Flash. You need to now look to punish what you can, and that is the Summoner being down. So if they could get up there, look for another lane gank. Can be set up very well by the Ornn ulti, and without a Flash, it's so hard to actually get away. So we'll see where MikeYeung decides to go next, and if he's going to expend that ultimate.
Cruising on the Spire. There's a little Scryer's Bloom vision here, and you see the wards going down. MikeYeung can try to clean that up, because they still have a bit to wait here for Ocean Drake, but they want vision on Svenskeren. They want to slow down that little snowball he's got building up here. Doesn't want it to be in mid lane next. Bjergsen's cleanse is up, so they may not decide to go there right away. Looks like it's going to be some blue buff transfers here as things calm down a little bit in the early part of the game.
Yeah, definitely the case. Jensen, you've got to give him some credit. Has done a good job of actually equalizing farm. You know, is staying pretty close up there. You know, he's not gotten his next blue buff, I don't believe, so that's 4 more CS in Bjergsen's favor. But either way, looking pretty good. You know, as far as not falling behind, not letting that snowball out of control.
Just out of turret range. Licorice kind of skirting that turret aggro as he still finds shots to tether onto a minion. He takes the hit, backs up. Tether onto a minion, takes a hit.
And the nice way about he's playing that is he's actually pressuring the turret, right? So he's getting those hits on the turret. He's staying far enough away, but it's a 4-man play on bot side. Smoothie needs to drop the ult early.
Oh, okay. Cosmic Radiance is down. So
well
much
done.
Patience. It almost feels bad. Oh, Sneaky! Gets himself out. Smoothie, though. It's a 5v1. And he is going to be going down quite a bit used as Sneaky slips out alive.
As funny as that looks, that's actually good for Cloud9.
It's huge.
They only get the 1 kill with 5 men bot, They lost their top turret. They're going to lose mid turret pretty likely, and top tier 2 is being pressured. So,
dude, Sneaky's used to this. This is like solo queue for him every day. 5 bot lane. He knows exactly what to do. Gets out alive. The team's ready to push down mid lane, but they're getting a little bit of respect here from Bjergsen, and it looks like Sven's going to just deny some jungle.
all that work finally paid off. All that grind.
Oh man, 3 kills though from Bjergsen. Still looking for some big plays from him. If he gets a hold of somebody, they get shoved, they will get deleted.
Yeah, Bjergsen's roams have been very effective, and thankfully was able to get back to mid lane in time to keep that turret alive. It's very low though, and
hello!
Sneaky
Jumps right on top of him. Buster shot to be used, but he's happy with that damage to start.
Yeah, push him out, get control of the jungle, get vision. This has been the name of the game all day today. This team's really fighting heavily over that, and the team that has done a better job has really won all the games. And we'll see if TSM is going to be able to control that for themselves, because they are trying to encroach on that bot side, enable themselves to get advantages down there. Ezra Carroll going back to her room.
But look at that aggro range. Thought he was taking it home. We'll see what happened here as Bjergsen all the way down, and they started this dive.
Yeah, here's the play again. They have accepted, okay, we can't actually stop this first turret from going down top. Smoothie with a good ultimate. Sneaky, a lot of patience to actually wait out the ultimate. Then at the last moment is too many of TSM members honestly committed to the right side of the turret. Probably should have had people corralling them in more. When you have 5-man bot, you can afford to have someone to the far left of the turret to make sure he can't do that sort of a mad dash. And instead, they're focusing the turret. They're staying, expecting C9 to just kind of make a last stand under it. And Siki finds his way out.
Look at that line of wards they placed while they were in the bottom side of the jungle, all the way down to that lane brush. So even if they don't have the minions, they have eyes on Cloud9. Another possible play towards the bottom.
Skarner, here comes.
He's looking to
Predator.
slow the play down, make the play continuous here so the team can catch him. I see you. Feel his sting. Sven's going to get this hit on Smoothie. Another instance where he's going to hold those summoner spells.
Save him for later.
Save him for later.
Save him for later.
Not feeling good, though. A little bit of a side there from him. They know they're out of position as they're trying to still get Sneaky fed. They have to take a kind of a risk here going up a bit farther with the vision TSM has placed.
I mean, the thing is, you can know full well that it's the good choice to die for your AD carry, and you're like, okay, that's okay. That's all right. But it happens the second time, happens the third time. Doesn't feel very good, right? You're like, yeah, it's the right play, but I'm 0-3, come on.
There could be a better one.
Yeah.
We'll see if they change that up. Mithy on the 0-0-2 scoreboard, feeling good as he's been keeping his AD carry Zven quite alive. Sneaky not going down yet, still keeping himself up and built. Iceborne Gauntlet there so he can keep the kite in, but he's going to have a lot coming at him now with this entire team of TSM and MikeYeung ready to flash forward.
He certainly will, and I think it's going to be a concern fighting up against this Tristana, who is scaling very well, who they've been able to put a lot of pressure on bot side and get him some favorable farm, get that turret, get him a kill, right? Like, all these things are working very well for Zven, and he's going to be put in a position where he has a chance to carry this game. Because I do think that Tristana is much stronger on the 2-3 items in these team fights. You can put out a lot more damage. It's hard for an Ezreal to be able to thread through the Mystic shots onto the carries. Like, sure, if it's just all specialty targets.
Braum shield.
Exactly. There's a Braum, or there's an Ornn, there's a Skarner, and it's very difficult to find the correct angles where you're A, both safe, and B, can actually attack the carries. And Ezreal just straight up isn't as good at killing tanks as a Tristana, so that's definitely an advantage that TSM could be having here.
He looks to get himself quite big here in the bot lane. Seeing interesting, just kind of half laning still, because they haven't gone to mid to push it down. They've dropped turrets, but not decided to swap sides to take them out again with full supports or a jungler to come and assist. It's kind of stalling out here as they clear vision, look for maybe a few picks across the map to happen. They finally leave bot here towards mid for C9 as they start to divvy up the pressure. Oh, never mind. They're going back.
I think bot, Sneaky actually just stops the recall there from Bjergsen, so trying to delay that a little bit. They know how low this mid turret is, and they really want to get it knocked down before they're committing to too much else. And meanwhile, in the side lanes, I mean, Licorice is looking pretty strong. He's not actually going to go for the Frozen Gauntlet, which is a bit surprising to me, as he is just going straight into the adaptive, and that's going to give him some more survivability, especially against the Taliyah. But this kind of tells you that he's thinking, well, the advantages are going to be gained more in team fighting, and that's more where I should look to kind of prioritize instead of just trying to push in and do more against this Ornn, because it's scary to try to push up that far and get a tier 2 when you know a Skarner could be popping Predator and running you down.
So our next objective on the plate, Rift Herald is up. Okay, just use it. I was going to say, do they use it mid or they pressure mid, take it down so it goes further? Here they're just going to leave it, get themselves a nice turret just to pressure the lane. Question answered. Look at that. Ask and thou shalt receive. 20 minutes in here. They get that one just before it despawns anyways, or had it and use it before Baron comes up. And now TSM knows the map's a little bit more open. They want to stop the wards from being placed any further. And they'll see if they can activate their own mid engage.
Yeah, you can see MikeYeung and Mithy on the side there looking, and both teams are here.
Oh, wow, what a hit there from Sneaky. Actually gets the pass through on Bjergsen. Mithy in a bad spot as he tries to save him. And the rest of the team had actually just Sneaky gets it on the true shot barrage. Double kill.
Sniper on the roof. Sneaky picks up a second, and that could prompt them to go straight for the Baron here, Riv.
He hit the Mystic shot that made that possible, too. Skirted it right around Mithy. Great shots lead to great things, and that is Baron for Cloud9. 40 seconds after it spawns onto the Rift.
Yeah, MikeYeung not even going to try it. They're going to try to trade for this mid lane turret.
Choice.
Yeah, I think it is the right choice. When you're going up against a Taric who's in the Baron pit with that tier, you can keep everyone topped off the whole time. There's just no real risk to it because you're utilizing that passive, resetting your healing, and that means TSM knows there's no danger for C9 starting that up. So if you go over, they're all going to be full health and you'll just die, then they'll get the Baron.
What a crazy way to turn, and not something you expect after such a quiet on the home front, right? Nothing's happening. There can't be 4 guys here. That's not going to happen. It didn't, and it does. You got to expect there's everybody or somebody in a brush anywhere around you.
And it's one of those funny things because TSM had a lot of members around mid lane too, right?
Yeah.
And it actually gave
that
Bjergsen,
moment that they walked away.
It gives you a false sense of security because all these guys are here. You're like, great, we have 3 members mid. Surely, if Jensen steps up, he's just going to die. But Jensen had 4 members mid, right? They had the extra man there. And Jensen, starting it off with that shockwave was beautiful. And really now, C9 can start to pressure the map so much more heavily with the Baron buff. And they're going to look to extend this gold lead here and really open up a big lead.
Mid's already down. That brings Licorice in so they can get the pressure on the turret. They'll also have a wall of bodies as a defense through this half of the jungle. Movement for them is quite easy as they have to get across. Mithy just went down. Does he go back? And they are going to stay here. Glacial Fissure goes back in, turrets onto the minions. Not into Svenskeren, so they actually waste a pretty big dive out there if they need to stop C9. However, I think they're happy to just keep poking in here with what they have.
And the other big thing to point out is that this is a Warmogs on Svenskeren. So he trades out his health, but he's back to full, right? And yes, they did not get as much damage as they were hoping on Mithy, but he was saying even if we don't kill him, if we poke him down and push him off the turret, we will get that for ourselves. But they're looking for Licorice here in the mid lane, and it may be Hauntzer that's caught.
Swept back. Hauntzer baited into a fight with the Mega Gnar, actually gets themselves hit in as well from the shove of Bjergsen. Can he follow up with any damage though? They all have to stay too far in the back line. Baron minions are denying a lot of that damage coming through as well from his volleys, and it's a second tier turret in the mid lane for Cloud9.
And that's big because they're controlling the minions all over the map here.
Everywhere.
They have the minions pushed up still in the bot lane. They can rotate right back down there, knock down a tier 2, or at least go for it.
Ring around the rosy for Cloud9 right now. The only thing they don't have in place is the mid or top wave, but it's even pushing in their favor for that matter. So they can go back and set themselves up quite nicely after that run through TSM's turrets. Here it is again from the get-go.
And there was a lot of TSM members around, right? So Bjergsen had confidence to step forward, but he gets caught by that shockwave from Jensen. Full commitment onto Mithy, taken out by the Mystic shot, and then Sneaky says, nope, not getting away from me. Snipes down Bjergsen, which leads to that Baron.
Just the edge on that one, but it was enough.
I mean, it was such a big kill. Not only are you getting the shutdown, but if Bjergsen lives and recalls, he can ult back to the Baron. That denies that. Yeah. That one play has just completely snowballed the game here for Cloud9.
And in a way that it actually affects MikeYeung quite a bit, because when the other team is so far ahead, they can start throwing Quicksilver sashes into their inventories, making you near useless.
Yeah, it becomes really tough. I mean, who do you ult, right? great. If you can get on the Ezreal, you can try to all him.
Oh boy!
Tough to actually get there. Whoop! Okay, wrong side of town. Yep, this is your bush.
Take it.
I apologize. Sorry. I'll be on my way.
Still could have kept himself safe. Quicksilver wants to go in though. Says just one? Just one is enough.
Well,
Forge.
they may own that bush, but unfortunately, they're losing their inhibitor turret.
Yeah, it was great by Licorice. Goes back in, says, wait, my team's pushing bot. They need all of you in the base right now, so I'll stop a few backs, and they will start to gain more control over the jungle. Vision, however, is they don't have too much to clear, is in favor of TSM right now, so they might get a straggler. They'd have to choose very well, though. It's kind of scary for TSM to initiate anything right now. 7K down.
That's what TSM needs. They need a pick, right? But as you said, it gets harder and harder when all these QSSs are available.
And
when
start.
flashes are all around there too. It gets really tough to actually be able to find that pick. And C9 can freely move around and clear out all that hard work for Vision because they know they're stronger. As long as you are together as a squad for C9 and you know that it's going to be at worst an even man fight, you're happy to take it because you're way ahead.
Drawing attention now, 25 minutes to the top side of the map. Cloud9 looking to finish the outer ring of turrets here as they go around the horn. Looking back at the early game, a lot of what could have happened a few seconds in favor of TSM, and this is a much different game for Hauntzer. Svenskeren saved the Licorice, if you remember, at a sliver of health, and they turned that around for a 2-kill play instead of losing top lane.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That play right there is going to be what's on a lot of people's minds as far as a turning point of the game. And what if that Ezreal ult was placed a little bit to the side and doesn't hit Bjergsen, right?
It's not Baron.
Then it's just one kill on a support, and who cares? It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But instead, this is a situation we're in. This is a situation TSM is going to have to try to battle back from. They do have a very strong Tristana, and they're looking for the fight.
They want the fight in the jungle. Oh, Shockwave only used onto
MikeYeung on the
Mithy.
side.
MikeYeung on the backside. Cosmic Radiance goes down. Cleanse goes out immediately. He doesn't get a really big target on that. Zven goes back. Licorice staying in between Hauntzer and him as they are looking to drop another MikeYeung, and now Hauntzer are down. A few more shots from Licorice! And he finds the AD carry. Zven is down. And C9 with the advantage play now. Push mid.
They're going to crack the base here. This is going to be inhibitor turrets. Maybe a couple inhibitors here. They can probably get both, honestly. C9 pushing in, and MikeYeung not able to find anything in that fight. And they're on to Bjergsen now. If he goes down, it'd be really bad.
Svenskeren pushing Bjergsen all the way back. That's the damage they want in the fight right now. The only damage, and he cannot get to any of the squishies on the back line. Licorice and the bottom turret have a field day. It goes down, and now he's on the inhibitor himself. The team should join him here, or just decide to back off. Smart play from Cloud9 here as they don't want to overstay their welcome.
Yeah, play it safe. They know that the members are coming back up. One of the only ways TSM can get back into the game at this point is if C9 overstays, you ace them, you get the Baron.
Yep.
And here's this fight. And now watch, what is MikeYeung really going to get done in this fight? He's looking for Sneaky, but Sneaky's retreating back behind his team. He ults the Taric with QSS, who's going into his own ultimate, really not able to have any effectiveness there. Zven is getting completely zoned out by Licorice, and he's not really able to get much done either. Hauntzer is not tanking enough at this point because he is behind. The team is kind of on a different page, and it feels like they're trying to go different ways, but when you get split up in this jungle corridor team fight, and C9 is all together as a squad in the Taric ult, it's so hard to win. Oh. Oopsie.
Yep. Small oopsie. A flash from Smoothie there as they try to connect the Dazzle with a little bit more reach.
Not quite able to get it, but mid lane's going to be pushing.
Oh, man.
The bottom lane inhibitor is open. Licorice wants to stick with the team for now because he has no TP, so that is one of the few things working in the favor of TSM at this point is Hauntzer's teleport, but you know, how much can he get done elsewhere on the map with it? He wants to be with the team anyway and look for that engage, but it's going to have to be a great one, as now even Sneaky has that QSS.
Yeah, I was just going to say 4 and a Banshee's Veil. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, your hope is basically somehow you knock off QSS from Jensen and then you ult him.
Maybe Winter's Bite can happen first. There's so many things that need to happen in order for TSM. And Cloud9 has all the windows open. They can go in whatever way they want at this point. And very close to getting themselves tied up with Echo Fox at 8-1. Just a few more fights in their favor, and they're already starting them with an HP advantage every time. Little hits from Sneaky, little hits from the rest of the team. Call the Forge God comes through. That is going to knock up the team, but Svenskeren stays alive with Cosmic Radiance as MikeYeung gets himself a little too deep. You can't get out once the Iceborne Gauntlet locks you down.
Yeah, just get run down there. They can't escape. Warmog straight back to full. Taric available. The Baron is going to be C9s, and that really could be the finishing touches here on the game for them. With an inhibitor down, another open, a massive gold advantage, and the Baron buff. It's hard to see TSM coming back from this one.
One thing I do like coming from TSM is these aren't fights they're trying to take in their base. They're not resting back and being lax. They're still trying to find the fights. It's just incredibly tough with the builds that Cloud9 is able to have.
Certainly so. They're playing to win. They're trying to be proactive and find the fight that can turn around the game, but C9 knows this and is staying as a 5-man squad always. They're utilizing their gold advantage. They're clearing out wards. They're trying to make sure that they can never get caught off guard, and now they're looking to close in on TSM.
Only has game. So much ground to work behind those turrets is Taliyah, and it's already baroned up minions with that magic resistance. Inhibitor goes down on the top side. MikeYeung looking for an in on somewhere. At the back, a Quicksilver Sash on Svenskeren is down, but it would take forever to drop the Sejuani at this point. And there's really no targets. They have to watch the Inhibitor go down, and Cloud9 gets to just walk in and out.
Exactly. And even if Jensen doesn't have a QSS or a Banshee's Veil ready, how do you even get to him? You have to run through 3 men in the front line. You're showing this so obviously what your intention is that Smoothie would always have his ultimate ready, and this is a big moment in this fight. Chunking Hauntzer down to about half HP. He's already having to be kind of pushed back out here, and C9 has pretty strong positioning. Look at Jensen always staying back out of range of the carries from TSM. Him and Sneaky are pumping out damage and making sure that they're never in a position that they can really be accessed by either Bjergsen or Zven for the strong members of TSM.
Makes it quite tough for anything to happen. We saw how much TSM wanted to pressure that bot lane. They said, shut Sneaky down, shut Smoothie down. 5 bot early game. Sneaky got out alive. Smoothie went down, but they were still able to work so much more over what TSM prioritized on the map. That was top lane already going down for C9. They've always been on the upper side of these plays, even if TSM tries to make it, I should say. 31-20 as they are back inside the base.
Definitely the case. I mean, things are looking good, but it's all eggs in this Zven basket at this point, honestly, for TSM. They need to find a fight, and they need to have Tristana go off.
This Zven basket doesn't have much protection either. That egg could crack pretty fast. MikeYeung goes down, the exoskeleton getting shattered as Mithy tries to stay on the front line, ready to protect his AD carry. And you see Zven and Jensen looking right that way. Sneaky on the left side now, toe-to-toe with Bjergsen. And they're just waiting to take this inhibitor down. If TSM moves forward, the objective changes and it becomes them.
Yeah, and in closes C9. The TP is available for Licorice. He can just TP right back. They can look to just close out the game now. 3 inhibitors down. Mid lane is respawning, and they're going to TP back in.
He says, give me a ward. Never mind, I got a minion. And he's into the fight, looking to build up his Mega Gnar as TSM makes a last stand in front of the turret. Hauntzer puts himself in danger, so Bjergsen can have a little room to work with. Sneaky Low gets himself the heal and flash. Red buff, Iceborne Gauntlet, you aren't catching this guy. He is slippery, and it's going to be Jensen coming up with the kill. A quick kill now onto Zven, the one that can really push him out. Sneaky goes down to Bjergsen. That's a big change in the fight. The structure damage now has to come from that top lane and the mid lane, and we'll have to see if they can do it. Bjergsen Zanias is down, but so is he. The final touches now for Cloud9 as it's just Mithy on the fountain. Cloud9 will move to 8-1. They will be tied with Echo Fox, and Cloud9 will take the victory over TSM.
And Svenskeren looking pretty happy with himself after that one. It's gotta feel good.
Gotta feel great.
Taking down your old team. Svenskeren facing so much criticism at Worlds with TSM and now on Cloud9, finding so much success, sitting at the top of the table and showing another great game. This team is just on fire.
And you see exactly what that means. Smiles as well, Reaper and Jack straight to Svenskeren. It's not just to say, haha, great job. There's pressure on this game. You're playing against your old team. There's a lot going on in your mind. And he definitely stepped up in a very big way, especially for Licorice in the top lane.
Yeah, definitely the case. You know, being there for that counter gank, that was such a pivotal moment in the game. You know, that
crazy
and
pivotal.
Sneaky's double kill in the mid lane were really 2 such massive turning points in the game that they got such big advantages off of. And C9 is just showing again that they're able to play so many styles, that they're able to play so many ways and play so confidently as a team that they're just so tough to beat, right? Like it can be a carry performance from Licorice in the top lane. It can be him being more of a role player. It can be sneaky on a hyper carry. It can be sneaky on a defensive champion. They seem to be able to do it all. And that's so tough to prepare for.
And it wasn't without error. We did see a few times in the bot lane, Smoothie and Sneaky were getting kind of hit up. Sneaky avoided that, and they were able to come out with a pretty big win. For more on that win about Cloud9, we are going to hear from the State Farm analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Rivington. Cloud9, our second team to move to 8-1. Makes for a very interesting matchup tomorrow against EchoFox. But let's work our way through it. Let's see how they got there. Up against TSM, a team that had started to look like they were gaining some momentum at 4-4 coming into this. Start of the game worked out quite well for them, and then things started to fall off.
Yeah, I think this was a good kind of bounce back game for a lot of proactivity issues that people were concerned about with TSM, where MikeYeung in particular went out and made a lot of stuff happen in the early game with that Skarner pick, took a very different build path as well. He has the the Predator enchantment, so he can move around a lot faster. You see this game in particular what actually gets their first blood after getting the flash. They're able to follow up on that and just kill Jensen, who's kind of resigned to his fate in the mid lane.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, Bjergsen was pretty ahead in this game, moved some of that pressure bottom lane, and things were looking generally okay for TSM. But also with that, I'm so glad I didn't pick TSM in this game because we identified this. We identified that they can get the advantages and then just don't play around it for very long.
Right.
And it fell apart pretty quickly. And C9, the team that wins pretty much all of their games, did play around their advantages so well.
Well, and that's where we got to give credit to Svenskeren, right? Because as we just, mentioned the fact that MikeYeung looking to get a lot of stuff done early, Sven's going to be the reason they can fight back.
And there's more to this. We were commenting about Licorice's Murph Tread rush beforehand to actually allow him to get a little bit more distance and shorten some of these CCs, but clutch timing by Svenskeren right there to ult in the turret, and because TSM committed so hard, be able to pick up that double kill was a huge turning point in the game because this stopped the Taliyah momentum in its tracks.
Absolutely. He also had a gank in the mid lane that got some summoners out of Bjergsen, just playing that well. So he did a really good job matching where the aggression was going early on, and the TSM eventually kind of got ahead of themselves. They had this one play down the bot lane where they committed all 5 members when they really didn't need the Ornn ult, and while they were good at blowing the bot lane turret open, they lost too much on the flip side of the map. And that's where we were talking about the problem with TSM versus C9 is not the individual players, it's when they have to make these 5v5 plays. It feels like C9 is just a lot cleaner and knowing exactly what they need to commit.
Right, Jay, you had said one of the best teams at gaining individual advantages is TSM, but when it comes to the team play, not as much. And here's where the game really breaks open for Cloud9.
Yeah, and this is pretty much exactly at 20 minutes. They have more people in the mid lane. They just go all out, and thanks to some nice sniping by Sneaky down the stretch, they say, if this lands, we're going Baron. We'll land it, just barely.
It absolutely did. Baron picked up there. 2 Barons will be picked up during the course of the game to help them end it. But that's a beautiful gold grab. From the moment they get their first advantage, they just continue to push it along up and to the right.
Yeah, that's the thing is, when you give C9 a lead, they're so clean in what they need to do to close that game out. And this was a huge team performance where Jensen received a lot of pressure early on. Licorice got some, Sven countered that. Sneaky gets some later. Everyone was getting pressure, but they all worked together.
Now we're going to hand it down to Avli, who is standing by with an interview with the victorious jungler.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Svenskeren. Congratulations on the win. You're just another player to pick up a revenge victory on TSM. What does the whole experience mean to you?
I mean, it feels pretty good beating my former team because I've just played with Hauntzer and Bjerg for quite a while, so I kind of know how they feel after a loss. So I know they're pretty sad right now, so that feels good.
Was there any extra motivation going into this match for that reason?
I mean, definitely, just because I know them as like friends kind of, right? So I just want to, I don't know, it feels kind of bad like saying I want to smash them, but yeah, it feels pretty good.
Natural feelings. In this week's feature, you talked a little bit about becoming more of a leader on Cloud9. What else is Cloud9 doing to help you grow as a player?
I mean, basically just on Cloud9, I just have more freedom as a person and as a player where if I feel like something is good, I have a lot of backup in my team where they all trust me kind of. So joining a new team is like, I think I talked about it in the feature as well, where you can kind of become like a new player, where the players don't have expectations of you to fulfill. So yeah, this feels pretty good, like trying to just be a new player kind of.
Now, Huni, in his interview, he was pretty confident about Echo Fox taking down you guys tomorrow. What do you think about Echo Fox, that matchup, and Dardoch?
Yeah, so Huni was talking shit or whatever, but I mean, I think last time we should have beat them if we didn't like throw. So I think we had a pretty good advantage, and obviously Echo Fox looks super good. They're like the same score as us right now, right? So we're fighting for first place, and I think we'll be able to win.
Well, I wish you the best of luck in that game tomorrow. Back to the desk.
Thank you very much, Avali. Again, all eyes on that matchup tomorrow for first place between Echo Fox and Cloud9. But just as we did with Echo Fox, the 8-1 Echo Fox, I want to talk about what makes this Cloud9 squad so successful. Why are they sitting at the top of the standings?
I think the backbone that we keep talking about is their bot lane, and in particular Sneaky, who has never been like a huge power point for them, but has had phenomenal season thus far.
Yeah, he doesn't get jungle proximity, but still smashes lane. So that unlocks them to do so many different things around the map. Svenskeren is easily able to gank Licorice's lane without cost, and it kind of just goes to show, looking down those stats, the type of role definition that Cloud9 is able to achieve. When Svenskeren talks about having freedom or being a better player, when you have a guy who can sack pressure like Sneaky, or when you have a guy like Jensen who can have 7 mid bans in the game, not need to priority pick a mid laner, and still have good games, it gives you such an edge over other teams because you can enable pretty much anyone you want to lead.
And I want to stress the psychological element that comes along with Sneaky's playstyle. This doesn't feel good. Like, you don't want to be Sneaky. You're not looking up to this playstyle like, yeah, I can't wait for my team to abandon me, and I get dove 3 times and my support 0-3 because we don't get any help. But the fact that they allow C9 to play that way, enable their rookie and Licorice, is almost like a minor miracle that this player can be this good while having this mentality.
Yeah, and Sneaky's the guy who's been on Cloud9 the longest, since summer split of 2013 when they qualified for the LCS. And I was talking to Jack, the C9 owner at Worlds last year, and he said Sneaky's like the master of not tilting.
Yes.
The master of not allowing the team to tilt. And that's the perfect player to never gank for because it doesn't matter. He's going to do completely fine.
I think it touches on a really important idea, though, that within the competitive landscape of League of Legends, you cannot have a strategy in which all 5 players are the star.
Yeah.
Right? It won't, I mean, in sports, right? Let's extend that to sports in general. You can't have 5 stars on your roster, and Sneaky is masterful at filling the role that is not the star.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting, especially when you kind of compare how this plays up against Echo Fox for tomorrow's game. Both 8-1, both have a much more top and mid-centric play style for their teams. And there's a much more explosive version in Echo Fox and a much more controlled version in C9. I can't wait to see who actually comes out.
Let's hit on that top lane jungle matchup a little bit. We did, of course, just put a ton of focus into the bot lane, but we had Zven on stage just now. We heard Huni talking earlier. So Dardoch Huni versus Zven Licorice.
Whew. I give a slight edge to Echo Fox in that particular matchup, even though last game, if you remember, it was the Jace from Cloud9 who got ahead and then couldn't bring it back in the team fights. I think both teams will be drafting pretty heavily around that matchup.
Final thoughts here?
No, I 100% agree with
Boom. There it is. We're looking forward to that matchup tomorrow. We're going to step away. When we return, it's Clutch Gaming aiming to defeat FlyQuest. Don't touch that browser.
Your hand is so fucking cold right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm freezing.
Yeah, do you want me to help?
Power control coming through now. Jensen's trying to slalom through the minions, but it will be first blood. My goggles, they see nothing, and they may not see a Licorice anymore. He gets away, Svenskeren at the last second. What a play by Svenskeren!
Braum, look at Braum.
Nice.
What about pressure? Can we take the next wave and then...
Oh, nice.
Let's get that shot back.
As they are looking to drop another, MikeYeung and now Hauntzer are down. A few more shots from Licorice. Cloud9 will move to 8-1. They will be tied with Echo Fox, and Cloud9 will take the victory over TSM.